Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Constantin Derecas titled the Not What It Seems Dream Remix. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen here on YouTube. Apparently this is actually based on a song from a high school band in Toronto. It's the band that we're discussing was apparently Ozone Park, their album titled No Exit. It was cassette only. It was released in 1987. So it's an interesting song, interesting start to proceedings. Good to hear Constantine's, interpretation. They're remixing the music though, and we're going to listen through it from start till finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. I mean, the piano playing is really pretty. It's quick, but it's not too much. There's a nice counter to the strummed part to the guitars.
As nighttime falls and we watch our awakening world, I've got a strange feeling of a life yet to live.
The flute playing is exquisite.
We try to turn away, but where do we begin? Come to me now, my dream of dreams. This vision of life is not what it seems.
This song is somewhat familiar to me though, I'm not sure why that is.
Trying not to fall asleep, although it would be really sweet, really sweet. My mind is blank and close to the world.
Solid effort of going down that range.
The big gray face in the mirror, it can't be me, no, it can't be me.
The flute is a little bit chaotic though, a little bit, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that's a part of the initial track, because if it is, then that's totally fine, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's too sharp, but there's a lot going on.
Come to me now, my dream of dreams. This vision of life is not what it
Tasteful. Really tight playing on the kit as well. There were 16th note rides. I mean, dude, that just flew by. Really charming piece. We're gonna talk about it though more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Constantin Derecas, a cover of the song from Ozone Park, or at least the remix of a track from Ozone Park, titled Not What It Seems. If I'm not mistaken, apologies, I've misinterpreted that. I think after listening through it and having a second listen just to kind of clarify a few things, it sort of seems like it's a track about someone with their own interpretation of their life, their person, the mirror, their own dreams, kind of wondering what's reality and what's not, things not being as they seem, just our own sort of subjective opinion on alternate reality. I think that's kind of what it's about, the way we see life and the world around us. And just kind of coming to terms with who we are and asking where we even begin in that sort of like bridge section. It's a really beautiful, gentle track there where I think part of what works about it is just how serene the vocals are. We're very comfortable in a head and chest voice, our vocal range there. There's no points where we're unsure of ourselves, whether it's like the main vocals in the setter or we've got the harmonized parts in the chorus parts. Ultimately, it's just really satisfying regardless. It's a very easy to listen through track. There are some interesting bits of sort of technique and extra flavor and some of those melodic tails and some of those runs we have at the end of parts. It's just really well fleshed out, and there's enough variety melodically as well as performatively in order to kind of keep things intriguing, even within the shorter form factor relative to it. I mean, we have an extended sort of like solo, like instrumental part in the third and final third there, which is really clever because it allows us to kind of really appreciate the vocals in the first mote of it. But it's a very dreamy introspective performance. It's a very dreamy introspective performance from Constantin here, and they absolutely smashed it out of the park. Really suits the vibe established, the atmosphere of the guitarist, the flutes, the drums, the keys, and the guitars. It's an interesting combination of elements there. When we're looking into ourselves and exploring our own psyche and our interpretations and kind of, the stuff that we're discussing within the track, you kind of need a peaceful sort of like surrounding unless you want it to seem like you're going through a manic episode. And here, a lot of the piano parts here with the major amount of triads there, there's no kind of gritty, rough edges to it. There's never a moment where we're trying to add harshness harmonically to it. The rhythms section with the drums is so nice and pleasant to listen to. It's very gentle. We flesh out the drum kit extremely well there, exploring the different sort of like hi-hat and ride patterns there at the crashes, an occasional thing. The kicks and snares are lovely as well. But we don't have the drums the entire time, to be fair. They come in a bit later on, and we'll talk about the structure in a moment. But I think, when they are there, they provide a nice sort of solid chord note kind of accent, and then they add in more sort of cymbal hits there and explore the 8th and 16th grooves, and just are a wonderful sort of intriguing ground bed or platform for a lot of the other elements. The strummed, acoustic guitars are very sort of like bright and cheery in the mix without being too much, Chords they play there are somber and soothing and suit the approach of the drum as well. The arpeggios and melodies that you have at the start of the piece on the piano are enough on their own to be intriguing, but you then allow everything else to sort of come on top of that. It just adds to it. And we know, I think at a later stage, not to have as much of the piano going on to allow space for the vocals to be there. So it's not just that we're playing a lot of these instruments really neatly, it's that we know how much of it we can get away with without needing to sort of like without overwhelming things. I think that's part of why with the flute especially you have a lot of pep to it. I think it's a deliberate decision on the part there to include it being as active as it is. Maybe that's something that's in the original here, and if that is, then I think that's totally fine. I'm not as familiar with the original song as maybe I need to be to understand the concept or the context of that flute. But there are call and responses between the vocals and the flutes and other parts of the tracks which show that we understand they need to be either one or the other or they sort of play together nicely. And ultimately, with a variety of different rhythmic interpretations of the things within the mix, with the colorations within the overall harmonies, and the overall just generally proficient instrumental section, especially near the end. It's just great to have the guitar flip on everything on its head and go into a solo section exploring the relative scales neatly, having its own voice, a different lead on, separate to the flutes and the vocals there. We just spoiled for different leads there. Compositionally, it's very well handled. I think that's as much of a comment on the performance as well as the structure. Regan, I appreciate that we are having that gentle build and slow kind of like additions of the various instrumental layers alongside the storytelling device there. To go between those verses and choruses so serenely, to have a relative dynamic range to it, to be able to have that later sort of half there, include that extended solo section and not feel the need to add more lyrics to it or vocals to part of it is just very tasteful. And I just like there are little flurries of the flute parts going up and crescendoing there before that final chorus there. There is just little ideas there that become a bigger whole. And the finish at the end, where we have just kind of the cymbals sort of crash out like that and fade into the ether as the icing on the cake. Just a really tasteful, effective rendition of this mix there, with the vocals and the instrumental performances, as well as the structure being a highlight. There is absolutely no filler, not a note out of place. Ultimately, I don't think there's anything I'd want to change about this track. I feel like it's just a really, they really care about the song, and they've done their best to sort of flesh it out and make it their own experience, which I feel has been done, really well. And ultimately, I enjoyed my time listening through it. So thank you for watching my review of this track from an actor named Constantin Derecas, titled Not What It Seems, the Dream Remix. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and a YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point. In time as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.